Hello one and all, and welcome along to the Euro Fantasy League podcast. This is your monthly update on all the goings on in the Premier League, La Liga and Serie A. And now I'm Jamie McLean, and I'm joined in the studio as always by David Fennick. All right there, Dave?
All right, Jamie.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Not too bad.
Marvellous. Let's get cracking on then. Yes, welcome along, as I say, to the Euro Fantasy League podcast, and thank you very much for joining us. We've got some updates obviously for you coming up in the next little while, Dave. So where would you like to start off with? Shall we go to the Premier League first?
Start the Premier League if you want, Jamie.
Okie dokie then. So we've obviously we're doing this episode, I might as well mention now, on the Wednesday. So we have got Tuesday night's results here, but there are fixtures going on Wednesday evening that obviously haven't happened at the time of recording. So I mean, it was quite entertaining at the weekend, the Premier League action, wasn't it? I mean, Newcastle and Huddersfield, I thought Newcastle looked great. Huddersfield really struggling though. Yep,
and Newcastle won again last night.
Yes, of course they did,
Beat Burnley 2-0, and Huddersfield got their first win for a while.
Yes, I know. I was going to say that.
With a late goal, 1-0.
Yeah, I know it was. At the weekend, I thought Huddersfield really looked a million miles away from being able to beat Wolves last night. You know, they didn't look very good at all. Jonas Lossell, who I believe was one of your early recommendations on this podcast, way back at the start, he looked very shaky for me.
Yeah. I think the whole of Huddersfield team looked shaky, but they got the result last night. But I think Huddersfield and Fulham are gone. Yeah, and I think there's one place. I think Newcastle's out of it now. I think there's one place to go for, and that's going to be between
Southampton,
Cardiff. I tell you what, Brighton have even been dragged into it now. There's a massive game at the bottom of the league tonight, Southampton v Fulham.
Yeah, I know, that's going to be huge. And I mean, speaking of that, last night, Leicester City, you know, Brighton losing again at the home of Leicester City. Brendan Rodgers, Leicester City. Not that he was in charge for the game last night.
Caretaker manager last night, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Because I had to rip all my notes up, you know, when I was writing writing up my notes for this, because I had managerless Leicester, and then Brendan Rodgers got appointed. I thought, I'm going to have to start that again. So the Foxes getting a big win. Newcastle beating Burnley, as you say. Everton winning 3-0 at Cardiff. I think Cardiff are going to be struggling, aren't they?
Yeah. They're struggling badly, Cardiff, you know. But because I think on Saturday, didn't they concede 5 at home to Watford?
They did concede 5 at home to Watford.
And then they've conceded 3 last night. I think it was
Friday night, that was.
Was it Friday night? Yeah, because of the rugby on their Saturday at Cardiff, so they played it Friday night. So they've conceded 5 against Watford, 3 against Everton. It's not looking good, is it?
Yeah, neither of those teams are particularly known for big goal scoring, are they? I mean, Watford, Gerard Deulofeu, though, lay to rest quite an old ghost for Watford, didn't he?
Yep, hat-trick, didn't he?
First hat-trick since 1986.
Is it?
And do you know that first top-flight hat-trick for Watford since 1986? And do you know who that player was?
86. John Barnes.
It wasn't. It was Mark Falco.
Ex-Tottenham striker.
That's right, that's the one. And the Watford manager at the time on that day was Graham Taylor, who later went on to manage Aston Villa, who were the team that Mark Falco scored that hat-trick against.
Well,
so there you go.
You have done your homework.
I have, yeah. So Gerard Deulofeu there getting those 3 goals in that 5-1 win at Cardiff at the weekend. And he also set up Troy Deeney as well. So spoiler, Gerard Deulofeu had quite a good weekend.
Yeah, loads of points for that fella, wasn't there?
He doubled his season's tally on the Euro Fantasy League game. He had 16 going into it, and he got 16 from that one game alone.
Yep. Man United Liverpool on Saturday was a bit of a
dull one.
Yeah, bit of a dull one, 0-0. And I think, do Man United go to Crystal Palace, I believe, tonight? Yep, I think they do. And Liverpool's at home to Watford.
Yes, Man United.
Where do you see the championship going?
Man United at Crystal Palace.
I've always tipped Man City. Do you think it's going to be Liverpool or?
I don't know. If you'd asked me this, like, in betwing this episode and the last one, I would have said, Liverpool have got it.
Man City were basically 9 points behind.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. Yeah. I think they've done really, really well to claw that back without Liverpool really dropping too much in terms of the performances, you know. I think Man City, though, they're just a class above, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I know they're tied on points.
City to win it.
Tied on points. City have got the better goal difference, obviously. Or they were tied on points, I should say. They're not anymore, are they? But, I think...
A point behind Man Man City?
Man City are a point behind Liverpool. Yeah, I don't know how I worded that. Yes, Man City are a point behind, and but they've got a goal difference superior by 10. So you think if that 1 point is all they've got to make up, I would probably fancy City to go on and win it. Tottenham is still not a million miles away. They're only 6 behind Liverpool, but with 9 games left. Or
big
11
week
games
for Tottenham.
left.
They've got Chelsea tonight, and then they've got Arsenal Saturday.
Yeah, it's big games. It could make or break things. They're 7 points clear of Arsenal at the minute, who are 4th. But it looks like Tottenham should be okay to get 3rd as long as they can come out of those 2 games relatively unscathed.
And Liverpool, big game this weekend, and one where they could lose points. Everton, Merseyside derby
they're
away.
At Everton, that's right. Yep, it's we've got the North London derby and the Merseyside derby this weekend,
and the West London derby,
and the West London Fulham and Chelsea. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So it's going to be a big weekend coming up in the Premier League. Yeah, exactly. You just can't get enough of it, can you? Yeah. So we'll have a quick look in the top performing players in the Premier League on EuroFantasyLeague.com, of course. That's why we're all here for Euro Fantasy League. And be no surprise who's top of the pile, obviously. Mo Salah still. 114 points. He's owned by 23% of fantasy managers. That's quite a healthy total, that, isn't it? His teammate Alisson is 2nd in the Premier League on 99 points.
Is Aguero still up there?
Aguero is 6th on 82. Right. He's actually behind Andrew Robertson, another Liverpool player.
Left back.
Raheem Sterling and Eden Hazard making up the rest of the top 6. And it's just dominated, really. Liverpool and Chelsea and Man City.
Right.
Yeah, in fact, Eden Hazard's the only Chelsea player there. It's all Liverpool and Man City. So no real shocks there, I don't think. A little bit under the radar, though. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang at Arsenal. He's not too far away off there.
He's done pretty well in this season for Arsenal.
So, yeah, I mean, there we go. That's about the gist of the Premier League action. As you say, we have got some fixtures coming up at the weekend. I'll just get them here. The North London derby kicks things off on Saturday, 12:30, Tottenham against Arsenal. Then you've got Bournemouth, Man City. Bournemouth got a good result against Chelsea not too long ago, but I would probably fancy the visitors there. Brighton against Huddersfield. That's a big clash, that is. Yeah, big game. And Brighton, as you said, right in the thick of it. Huddersfield look all but gone at the minute. Still time for them to come back, but it'll take quite an effort. Burnley at home to Crystal Palace. Man United at home to Southampton. Luke Shaw going up against his old team there. I can see United winning that one again. Wolves against Cardiff. So that you would think Wolves would probably snake that one.
But Wolves have had a bad result at Huddersfield last night, haven't they?
That's true, yeah. And then Saturday evening, West Ham United at home to Newcastle. That should be a good game. Look forward to that one. The Andy Carroll derby, if we're going on the derby theme for the weekend.
He never plays, though.
No, true enough. And then on Sunday, Watford and Leicester. High free score in Watford, really, against Leicester.
Brendan Rodgers' first game in charge.
Yes, that's right, yep. And then, as you say, the West London derby, Fulham at home against Chelsea. And then at 4:15 on Sunday, Everton hosting Liverpool in probably the friendliest local rivalry in England. Perhaps. Yep. So, yeah, there we go. I think that'll just about do for the Premier League there. And so what we'll do, Dave, we'll head off for a quick break, and when we come back, we'll head off to another destination of your choosing. We'll be right back. All right, and welcome back to the Euro Fantasy League podcast. So, Dave, where would you like to go next?
We'll head over to Italy, eh?
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it does.
Serie, yes, absolutely. So what have you got for us on Serie?
Yeah, just at the weekend, there was some game at Fiorentina, 3-3 draw with Inter. Yeah. And Inter were ahead at 3-1 at one stage of the game, and a penalty in the 101st minute given Fiorentina to share the spoils.
Absolutely crazy.
I think when we had a studio guest who I can't remember her name, so I'm really rude with that, but she was a Fiorentina supporter.
That was Chloe Beresford.
Chloe Beresford, that's right. And she was saying the sort of way Fiorentina play, they've got a youngish team, and they're attacking minded, so they obviously concede goals, but they score them and seem like a very exciting team to watch.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And as you say, the 101st minute, Vertut getting that penalty to equalise there in that one.
Yeah, Napoli won 4-0 at Parma and are now unbeaten in 7 games, and I think they're in second place in Serie.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Napoli, I think that there was a few people maybe a little bit worried about Sarri's departure and how they were going to get on. But as you say, I mean, they're 13 points adrift of Juventus at the time of recording, but even then, they're 9 ahead of Inter Milan. So they're looking pretty good for second place again.
Yep, and Juve won 1-0 away at Bologna.
Yep, your boy, Paulo Dybala.
Paulo Dybala, yeah, my favourite player in Serie A, scoring the goal. And they bounced back, really, Juve, because they'd had a bad result in the Champions League in the middle of the week, getting beat off Atletico Madrid. So right. They bounced back well, and now they hold a 13-point advantage over Napoli.
Yeah, and 3 wins on the trot, of course, for Juve. And Napoli had actually drawn 2 in immediately preceding that win at Parma. Yep. So Juve have pulled away a bit in recent weeks.
And the bottom club, Chievo, it's looking very bleak. 11 points from safety.
Yeah, that's right. 11 points from safety. There's only 13 games left, and they've got a far inferior goal difference. They've actually got a better goal difference than Frosinone in 19th, but from the safe spots, they're going to struggle. I think they're about 11 away on that front as well.
So who's the high-scoring points total men in Serie A then, Jamie?
You took around that phrase eventually, didn't you? Yeah. So, Serie A, I mean, again, a bit like we said with the Premier League before, there's going to be no shocks who's top. Cristiano Ronaldo, the new boy, he's on 88 from a 20 million valuation. Yep. That's actually quite a low total for Ronaldo.
The only thing before you go on anyone further, I know Juve spent a lot of money on him, and it wasn't to win the Serie A title, which they win every year, was the Champions League. And they're 2-0 down from the first leg, Atletico Madrid. I'm not saying they won't pull it back. They're quite capable, but we'll have to see how that one goes.
We've seen bigger deficits overturned in the Champions League,
anyway,
but it's going to be a struggle. So right behind Cristiano Ronaldo, Fabio Cagliarella at Sampdoria. He's on 77, keeping up pace quite well. And Duvan Zapata just behind him at Atalanta, of course, on 71. Inter goalkeeper Samir Handanovic on 70, though he had a bit of a bad weekend. He lost 4 points this weekend. And then one of my boys, Dries Mertens, at Napoli,
you like him,
on 5th.
Where's my 69. Friend Paulo Dybala?
Paulo Dybala. I haven't got a ranking for him, but I can certainly get his total for you. Yeah, 23 points, Dave.
Oh.
It's quite low, really. But then again, Ciro Immobile, my other boy at Lazio, 46. So because we had a bit of a debate, didn't we, last season on Dybala or Immobile?
Yeah.
But Immobile is winning that one, I'm happy to say. So yes, there we go. So there's Serie A covered.
Do you want a break, or do you want to move straight to
we'll
La Liga?
We'll pop off to a quick break if you like, and then we'll come back and we'll do La Liga. So we'll be right back. And welcome back to part 3 of the February 2019 edition of the Euro Fantasy League podcast. Now, Dave, as you know, I've been getting my brain into gear. I've been thinking this through, and my powers of deduction have led me to the conclusion that we're now heading to La Liga.
Sí.
Muy bien.
Very good.
Thank you very much. That is right, very good. So what have you got for us in La Liga?
Right, we'll start off with Barcelona, who won 4-2 at Seville after being behind twice, and somebody who, I'll give you one guess, scored a hat-trick.
Oh, could let me think. Leo Messi, by any chance?
Yes, correct. And this is a stat you'll probably be surprised with. Before Saturday's win at Seville, 4-2, Barcelona had only won once in the month of February.
That is absolutely crazy.
Yep.
I actually almost don't believe that.
Yeah, check it out after. I'm sure I've got it right.
I believe it. I'll take your word for it, but that sounds incredible.
It's right. But and they've got 2 massive games this week, taking on Real Madrid twice at the Bernabeu.
Yes.
Copa del Rey tonight.
Wednesday that we're recording.
Yeah, Wednesday we're recording. It was 1-1 in the first leg at the Nou Camp.
All to play for.
And now all to play for, as you say, in the Bernabeu tonight. And then they're back there on Saturday for a La Liga game at the Bernabeu as well. So 2 El Classicos in a week. Yeah,
7:45 on Saturday night, that is. That is my weekend booked up. I tell you, I cannot wait for that. So big, as you say, big week coming up for Barcelona there. Just to sum up, Navas and Mercado scoring for Sevilla, and Suarez got the 4th goal for Barcelona 3 minutes into injury time.
Yep, so Barcelona heading the top of the tree.
Yeah, absolutely. Barcelona are top of the pack on 57, ahead of Atletico Madrid on 50. It seems to be, apart from the Premier League, it seems quite common at the minute that there's big leads at the top.
Yeah, in the other two leagues we cover.
Yeah, common theme among the other two, Real Madrid third on 48, so right on the heels of their neighbours there. Getafe fourth, 39 though, a little bit of a distance back.
Still having a good season though.
They're having a great season. Sevilla in fifth, Alaves sixth. And that makes up the European places at the time of recording. Real Betis are only a point behind.
And the bottom of the league?
Huesca.
Yeah.
Poor Huesca. I was so excited.
They were just promoted last season, weren't they?
They were, yes. Yeah. And it looked, the first game or two, they played well. They didn't do too badly. But they got 2 wins on the bounce a couple of weeks ago. That took their season's total up to 4. 4 wins from 25 games. They're on 19 points.
I thought you meant 4 points.
No, 4 wins. They're on 19 points, 4 points behind Rayo Vallecano and Villarreal, who make up the other relegation spots. And just ahead of them, Celta Vigo on 25 and Real Valladolid on 26.
And who's claiming all the points in La Liga then?
Well, in La Liga, I have that already, all prepared for you. So I'm going to give you one guess. Here's a little pop quiz for you. Who do you think's top of La Liga's EuroFantasyLeague.com points charts?
Messi.
Yes, well done. Lionel Messi there, 20 million valuation, 123 points he's got this season, top in the entire game.
Is he? Now, Real Madrid won 2-1 at Levante on Saturday. I think Suarez scored one of the penalties. I think they were both penalties, and Gareth Bale got the winner from the penalty spot with about 12 minutes to go. I don't think Gareth Bale will be figuring that highly in the return of points, is he?
No, the not near the top anyway, certainly. But Nacho getting a red card in that game as well. And Roshina got a red card.
Two red cards,
Nacho went off, and then a couple of minutes later, Roshina got sent off as well. So that was their one-man advantage.
Referee going crazy.
Away. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, card happy.
Yeah.
So Messi's top, Jan Oblak at Atletico Madrid on 80. He's always there or thereabouts him. I remember at one point, I think I said on this show about a year ago, he'd kept more clean sheets than he'd conceded goals at all, or something like that. He'd kept something like 30 clean sheets and he'd only let in 27 goals. I cannot remember. Luis Suarez right behind him on 73, and then there's a bit of a gap. Sarabia and Wissam Ben Yedder, both of Sevilla, they're on 58 and 56 respectively, and then World Cup winner Antoine Griezmann on 56 as well.
And if you want to get a fix of your La Liga,
please continue. Right? Yes.
ITV have won the rights or whatever, or paid the money so there's going to be a La Liga game from now till the end of the season on ITV4, I believe.
Fantastic. That's going to be that's
highlights programme.
And highlights programme as well. That's good, because I always look around for the highlights, especially because they're not as in your face as the Premier League highlights are, obviously. And I sit there and I watch as many as I'm able to, you know. And that would be handy, having a match of the day type show.
Handy for your notes.
Yeah, very handy for the notes, absolutely, Dave. So there you go. There's a summary of all the top players. I'll quickly go through a couple of other results that interested me, if I may, from La Liga. Okay. Real Betis getting a 2-0 win at Real Valladolid. As we say, they struggled. Mandy and Sanchez Rodriguez getting the goals there. Atletico Madrid beating Villarreal 2-0. That was Alvaro Morata and Saul getting the goals. Leganés and Valencia drawing. Kondogbia putting Valencia in front before Martin Braithwaite equalised.
Braithwaite's done all right, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. He's making a bit of a name for himself there. But then on Monday evening, Girona and Real Sociedad playing out a 0-0 draw, which is just what you want on a Monday night, isn't it? So there we go. I think that just about covers everything for this
Serie
episode,
La Liga and the Premier League.
And
all
the Premier League, absolutely. So that's us done for February's edition. We'll be back, obviously, in March to bring you another summary there. So do remember to play the game. Like I say, that's why we're all here. That's EuroFantasyLeague.com. It's free to play. And you've also got fantasy-premier.com, Serie-fantasy.com and Liga-fantasy.com as well. You can reach us on social media. We're on Twitter at EuroFantasyPod. I'm there at JamClean1984. Dave's there at Davey Fennick. You can email us eurofantasypod@gmail.com. And please remember, if you've enjoyed the show, just to find us on your chosen podcatcher, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and leave us a rating and review. That always goes down very, very well with us indeed. We're on iHeartRadio as well, YouTube. And so until next time, Dave, thank you very much for being the host.
Pleasure.
For this particular episode in Casa Fennick Studios. So we'll see you at some point in March.